Hey guys, JB here, back from the holiday with another Battlefront 2 news update. While there's been plenty of ongoing controversy, what with several countries deciding to investigate whether loot boxes should be considered gambling, the most recent news comes from a Change.org petition. The meteoric rise and fall of Battlefront 2 has forced the issue with one particular consumer, John Hunt. John created a Change.org petition asking Lucasfilm to revoke the Star Wars license from EA. Before we look at his statement and reasoning, let's talk about the current terms of the license. Following Disney's acquisition of the Star Wars IP in 2013, EA signed a deal to exclusively publish any and all Star Wars video games for the next 10 years. That means currently we will not see a non-EA Star Wars title until after 2023. I'll be the first to admit that 99% of Change.org petitions don't go anywhere, but it raises awareness and brings attention to the issue, and it certainly doesn't hurt. So let's take a look at this petition. As I record this video, it is sitting at 28,000 signatures. John opens by stating EA have had the Star Wars video game license for the last 4 years, and in that time they've proven to their consumers that they honestly don't care about the gameplay experience or content. They'd rather rush out a game that will try and milk as much money out of consumers as possible. He continues by pointing to Star Wars Battlefront 2015, the first major EA published Star Wars game under the new deal. It will forever be remembered as a game that was beautiful to look at, but had a ridiculously small content offering, and adding insult to injury, they tried to sell a season pass which offered even more content than the base game apparently. Next, EA chose to cancel Visceral's single-player only Star Wars game, claiming that they wanted something players could come back to and enjoy, which everyone just took as we want something that we can sell microtransactions and loot boxes in instead. And then recently, of course, Battlefront 2 released with numerous issues, mostly surrounding its microtransaction-based loot box system. These separate instances over the last 4 years have culminated to this one point, and that's why John is calling for this and created this petition. So, does EA deserve to lose the Star Wars license after the past few years? I think from a consumer perspective, it's pretty clear that the vocal community is not happy with the past 4 years and believe that they should. These 3 notable instances have done nothing but breed more contempt and hatred towards the company. I seriously doubt that some shiny, new, exciting Star Wars game will repair the damage that's already been done. However, from a financial perspective, Battlefront 2015 sold relatively well. According to VG charts, it reached a total of nearly 13 million copies sold across all platforms. That's almost double what the original Battlefront 2 sold back in 2005. Not to mention all of the extra revenue from the season pass sold after the fact. I think a huge determining factor will come from the new Battlefront 2's sales numbers. It's been reported that physical copies are down 60% compared to Battlefront 2015, but those numbers are no indicator of overall sales. Digital sales have skyrocketed over the past few years, so there's no way to tell how Battlefront 2 did until we have those numbers. No matter how loud our community has been, personally, I believe the decision will come down to sales. If we made a real impact and Battlefront 2 sold significantly less than it would have otherwise, then there's a good chance EA could lose Star Wars. But I think we need to prepare ourselves for the real possibility that casual gamers and fans who aren't super passionate about these issues will carry the game forward financially. We also have to play the long game, since Battlefront 2 will have a decent long tail of sales around Christmas time, and microtransactions have been promised to return in some form or fashion in the future. Speaking of microtransactions, I wanted to touch on one final point before we close out the video. Superdata, which collects revenue stats for video games, recently put out some numbers in relation to monetization. In 2017, it's projected that additional content sales will hit $5 billion, while full game sales will be $8 billion. Even more ridiculous are the free-to-play games, which will reach $22 billion in revenue. By 2022, Superdata projects that service-based monetization in free-to-play games will grow 146% compared to 2012, while product-based monetization will soar to 120%. This next graph shows FIFA 17's additional content revenue, which proves that a live service game can rake in a ridiculous amount of money through microtransactions long after its release. The takeaway here is that whether we like it or not, the current path that we're on is towards more service-based games and microtransactions. Whether you're buying a $60 game and spending additional money on microtransactions and loot boxes, or going free-to-play and making in-game purchases, this is where we're headed currently. And only time will tell whether major consumer backlashes like we've experienced with EA and Battlefront 2 will truly make a difference. That's it for today's video. In the comment section below, tell me whether you think EA should lose their Star Wars license and why. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more commentaries like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.